Imagine a vibrant mother and her joyful son suddenly stepping into a nightmare that defies all reason. In the heart of America, Nichelle McKnight, a dedicated U.S. Air Force reservist, balanced the demands of her service with the joys and challenges of raising her young son, Zaden. Together, they shared a bond that was both tender and filled with laughter, a beacon of light in each other's lives. Nichelle, a single mother, was the epitome of resilience and dedication. She juggled her responsibilities with a grace that made it look effortless. Her life a routine of work, play, and little moments that stitched the days together into a tapestry of normalcy. But beneath this ordinary surface, a storm was brewing, one that began with a seemingly minor anomaly. One day, Nichelle noticed unusual activity on her debit card. Transactions she didn't recognize, amounts that didn't add up. It was puzzling, troubling, and the first thread of suspicion in what would soon unravel into a complex web. With each fraudulent charge, the sense of security Nichelle had built around her and Zaden began to erode, setting the stage for a mystery that was anything but ordinary. As Nichelle dug deeper into these financial discrepancies, her concern grew. What started as a simple inquiry into unauthorized transactions spiraled into a scenario fraught with danger and deceit. Little did she know, this was just the prelude to a chilling saga. Enter Antoine Anderson and Tanisha Harris, two figures who played a sinister role in the unfolding drama. Their paths first crossed Nichelle McKnight's in a manner most would consider mundane, through a shared acquaintance. Yet this connection would prove to be anything but ordinary. Antoine, a charming yet shadowy figure, had a history of minor frauds and petty crimes. However, his ambitions grew bolder when he met Nichelle, a single mother and a military reservist, who perhaps unknowingly became a prime target for his next scheme. Tanisha Harris, Antoine's partner, was equally complicit, bringing a cunning and ruthless edge to their plans. The duo's initial foray into Nichelle's life seemed innocuous. Friendly encounters, small favors. But as trust was built, so were the stakes. It wasn't long before Nichelle discovered unauthorized transactions on her debit card. The amounts were small at first, almost unnoticeable. But as Antoine and Tanisha grew bolder, so did the figures siphoned from Nichelle's accounts. Their operation was meticulous. Antoine, with his deceptive charm, played the frontman, engaging Nichelle, keeping her trust. Meanwhile, Tanisha worked from the shadows, managing the logistical aspects of their frauds, ensuring the money flowed without leading back to them. At least, that was the plan. As the transactions increased, so did the tension. Nichelle, sensing the betrayal, confronted Antoine. The confrontation, fraught with emotion and accusations, marked a turning point. From this moment, the puppet master's motives took a darker turn. What began as financial fraud escalated into something far more sinister. The increased financial strain on Nichelle wasn't just a matter of stolen money. It was a calculated move to control and isolate her, making her more vulnerable to their manipulations. This was no longer just about money. It was about power, control, and ultimately, disappearance. With each transaction, the web of deceit grew more entangled, setting the stage for a tragic vanishing. March 25, 2014, Nichelle McKnight and her son Zaden disappear without a trace. On this fateful day, a mother and her young son's routine life took a dark and unexpected turn, spiraling into a mystery that haunts their community and family to this day. Nichelle, an Air Force reservist known for her dedication and vibrant presence, had planned a simple day out with Zaden, full of the mundane yet precious moments that define motherhood. However, as the hours ticked by, the silence from Nichelle became alarming. Friends and family, accustomed to her consistent communication, felt a growing unease. By evening, panic had set in. Calls went unanswered, and Nichelle's mother, fearing the worst, contacted the police. The response was swift, but initially met with bureaucratic hurdles. As a missing persons report was filed, local law enforcement began to piece together the last known movements of Nichelle and Zaden. The community rallied, with search parties combing through nearby parks, woods, and areas Nichelle frequented. Flyers with the smiling faces of Nichelle and Zaden were plastered on every lamppost and community board available, each one a silent plea for safe return. Days turned into weeks with no sign of Nichelle or Zaden. Then a grim discovery shifted the nature of the search. Nichelle's body was found near a secluded river, a spot disconnected from her usual routes. The scene was stark, the aftermath brutal. Nichelle had been met with foul play. Her life ended far from the eyes of those who loved her. This discovery shattered any remaining hopes for a simple resolution. The focus now intensified on finding Zaden, but he was nowhere to be seen. The young boy, with his whole life ahead of him, had vanished, leaving behind a community bound by sorrow and disbelief. While Nichelle was found, the mystery deepened with Zaden still missing, his whereabouts a painful unknown. As the investigation intensified, so did the breakthroughs, each more shocking than the last. A tangled web of deceit began to unravel as law enforcement dug deeper into the lives of Antoine Anderson and Tanisha Harris. It was not long before their connection to Nichelle's disappearance became painfully clear. The first major breakthrough came when investigators discovered security footage from a local store. The video revealed Nichelle arguing with Anderson just days before she vanished. This piece of evidence was pivotal, placing Anderson at the center of the investigation. It was a chilling glimpse into the tensions that bubbled beneath the surface of their relationship. As detectives followed the money trail, they uncovered numerous transactions linking both Anderson and Harris to the fraudulent activities on Nichelle's debit card. These transactions were not just theft, they were a trail of breadcrumbs leading directly back to the duo. Forensic analysis of these financial records provided the backbone of the case, illustrating a premeditated plan to siphon Nichelle's funds. Witness testimonies further cemented Anderson and Harris's roles in this grim puzzle. Neighbors reported seeing unusual activity around Nichelle's home on the night she disappeared. Muffled noises, the sound of a struggle, and a car speeding away late into the night painted a sinister picture. Then came a confession that turned the case on its head. Under intense questioning, Harris broke her silence. She provided a detailed account of the events leading up to Nichelle's disappearance, implicating Anderson as the orchestrator of the crime. However, she claimed ignorance regarding Zaden's whereabouts, a statement that only deepened the mystery. Forensic teams worked tirelessly, analyzing every fiber and fingerprint. Each piece of evidence added layers to the narrative, constructing a story of betrayal and cold-blooded planning. Each clue uncovered seemed to offer hope, yet the shadow over Zaden's fate grew only darker. A community bound by tragedy, united in a search for truth and justice. In the wake of Nichelle and Zaden McKnight's disappearance, the fabric of their community was torn apart, yet also stitched closer by shared sorrow and resolve. Streets once filled with the everyday hustle and bustle now echo with the solemn steps of those who refuse to let Nichelle and Zaden be forgotten. In the heart of the city, candlelight vigils paint the night with flickers of hope and remembrance. Faces young and old gather under the glow of candles, each flame a silent testament to the lives touched by Nichelle and her son. Here the community stands shoulder to shoulder, their voices soft but firm, as they call out into the darkness for any shred of information that might lead to Zaden, who remains missing. Behind the scenes, law enforcement teams work tirelessly, poring over new leads and revisiting cold trails in the relentless pursuit of closure. Community groups, fueled by a mix of grief and determination, organize events and awareness campaigns. They distribute flyers, share posts on social media, and coordinate with officials, ensuring that the search for Zaden never fades into the background. As the seasons change, the resolve of those who knew and loved Nichelle only deepens. Her spirit, embodied by those who loved her, continues to fuel the quest for closure. This enduring spirit, woven through the very heart of the community, is a powerful reminder of the bonds that tragedy can forge, even as it seeks to destroy. Today, the questions remain, haunting all those touched by the tragedy of Nichelle and Zaden. As we grapple with the unsettling details of this case, the search for Zaden McKnight continues relentlessly. A young boy, spirited away under the darkest circumstances, his whereabouts still a mystery that gnaws at the heart of the community. Throughout this investigation, the resilience of Nichelle's family and the unwavering support of the community have been paramount. Their tireless efforts to keep the memory of Nichelle and the search for Zaden alive have not only kept hope burning, but also spurred significant changes in law enforcement approaches to similar cases. Public awareness has surged, leading to more vigilant monitoring of financial crimes, which often precede more heinous acts. Each new piece of evidence, each revisited lead, brings us closer to understanding the full scope of this heart-rending story. Will the mystery of Nichelle and Zaden McKnight ever be solved, or will their story linger as a testament to unresolved sorrows in the annals of true crime?